invested it in my business. It's uncomfortable. I didn't have a job, right? But I survived. And so you have to be uncomfortable. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. Drop a 1 in the chat if you have your big girl pants on. Jody said, not lazy. I don't know how to actually write the letters. Don't worry, Jody. I have the resources for you. Kian said she wants to make 20K a month. I have all the resources for you tonight. I'm going to give you all the resources, and you're going to get the replay. You can write it down as I'm talking, right? So there's no excuses tonight, guys. I'm going to give you the steps to raise your credit score, and I'm going to give you the resources. They're all free. Everything's free. And so I'm going to share. Are you guys ready for the secrets? Are you ready for the credit repair secrets? Drop a fire emoji if you are ready to learn the credit repair secrets. There are people selling this in bundles. There are people selling that, giving this to you for free. This is what I used to do for my clients when I had my credit repair business. In my parents' living room, people used to come in every night on the weekends and in the evening, give me cash. I had a cash business. I'm giving this to you for free. Okay, so we're going to share the 3 mistakes that Airbnb investors do, people with bad credit do when they're starting out on Airbnb. The very first mistake, I want to say everyone does, not just Airbnb investors. Everyone does this, people with bad credit or not so attractive credit. Mistake number 1, not utilizing the consumer credit laws. Drop in the chat if you're familiar with the consumer credit laws that are there to protect you from creditors and collection agencies who take advantage of you because you don't know your rights. These are the basics of credit repair. This is the foundation of credit repair. These 3 laws right here. So if you don't utilize them, you're not going to know the game. These are the 3 main consumer credit laws to repair your credit, right? I'm gonna cite them by letter, but I'm gonna read them out to you. So if you hear me say FCRA, I'm talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That was enacted in 1971. It's been there for over 50 years to protect you because creditors used to take advantage of people and report things on their credit report, take advantage of them. So now this law is there to protect you. Let me know if you're familiar with that law. The next one, the collection agencies are so terrible. They're so trifling. They're so shady that they had to enact specific laws for them. So they enacted the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA. Every single few years, they update the FDCPA because the collection agencies don't know how to respect other people because you owe them money. They feel that they could call you at your job. They can harass you. They can harass your neighbors. This is so embarrassing. But when I was in college, I kind of had bad credit. And they used to call my neighbor. My neighbor used to come and knock on my door and say, I got this phone number for you. That is illegal. They can't do that anymore. They cannot call you at your job and harass you, make you feel uncomfortable. And your boss says, hey, I got a phone call for you, and it's a collection agency. Let me know if that ever happened to you. That is illegal, and that is embarrassing. They're not allowed to do that. And the last one is the Fair Credit Billing Act. If you hear me say FCBA, I'm talking about that. That applies to credit card billing. You have 60 days to attack something that's on your credit card. The Fair Credit Reporting Act says that if they cannot prove that something is on your credit report, it doesn't matter if it's yours or not. You are innocent until proven guilty. If they can't prove that it's your debt, they have to remove, right? Like Johnny Cochran says, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. So that's the FCRA. The FDCPA is for the collection agencies, and they have a host of sins that they commit against us. So that's mistake number 1. Let me know if you're familiar with these consumer credit laws. That's the laws you're going to use to attack your creditors and the collection agencies today. I'm going to teach you how to raise your credit score. Let me know you're familiar with them. I remember they used to do that. Yes! They used to do that. Oh my God. My neighbor used to come and hand me over a note. I used to want to die right there. That's how I learned these laws for myself. Because first I fixed my own credit, and then I started to help my family fix their credit. And then I then I had a little side business helping people fix their credit when I was working my 9 to 5. That's how I started fixing my own credit, because I studied law. I didn't study law, but I studied legal studies in college, and I understood like, hey, they have these laws to protect us. These people can't do this. Someone said yes. Rose said yes. Iman, oh my God, those were the days, guys. So these are the 3 main laws we're going to use today that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to use the letters. Okay, take a snapshot of them if you need to. So this is how you raise your credit score. So a few months ago, something really crazy happened. I woke up and a bank called Silicon Valley Bank shut down. a bank shut down overnight. The bank that you trust shut down overnight. And there was a small business owner that was on the news. He said, I have all my money. My clients purchased, he had a toy business, a little boutique toy business. People purchased his toys online. He had an online business. He was based in Manhattan. And he was on the news. He was like, overnight, Silicon Valley Bank shut down. I use them to have my merchant deposits. So if you process credit cards and you're a business owner, process credit cards, you have a bank where your merchant processor deposits your money in. And so overnight, they shut down his business account. He didn't know they were going to do that. And so he was on the news asking his clients, hey, I just opened up a new bank account. Can you please go support my business? Can you believe a bank did that? But they want us to behave. They want us to pay our bills on time, but they shut down on their clients overnight. A few days later, Signature Bank closed down. I don't know if you're familiar with Signature Bank, but they give out credit cards. So Signature Bank can't pay their own bills, but they want us to pay our bills. Guess what? They have consumer credit laws that are here to protect you. So even if you didn't pay your bill, if you had a divorce, if you had a death, if you just bit off more than you can chew, you don't have to suffer for 7 years. I'm going to share with you all the secrets to raise your credit score, and don't feel bad. Just think of every time you feel bad about disputing stuff that belongs to you, just think about the 2 banks that just shut down literally 2 months ago. They can't pay their own debt. So, but they want us to be able to overwhelm ourselves with that. I'm not saying this for you to be responsible. I'm just saying if you have bad credit, you can fix your credit. And I'm going to go over this with you. The first thing you need to do is to freeze the secret credit bureaus. A lot of people do not know that there are secret credit bureaus out there. I'm going to give you the resources on the website names later on how they keep data on you that you don't even know they exist. Let me know if you're familiar with the secret credit bureaus. They are worse than the devil. Why? Because you don't even know they exist, right? So LexisNexis is the #1 secret credit bureau. And what happens is a lot of people don't realize when they know the main credit bureaus, they know Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, but those 3 are getting their information from LexisNexis. And LexisNexis wants to stay a secret to you. They don't want you to know about them. Because if you don't know about them, then you can't freeze it. So the first thing you need to do is freeze your secret credit bureaus. Drop in the chat if you can tell me how many secret credit bureaus are out there. Drop in the chat. Take a wild guess. Aside from the 3 main bureaus you know about, which are the big 3, right? Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Drop in the chat if you can tell me how many secret credit bureaus are out there that the majority of public do not know exist. They collect data on you. Data is more powerful than diamonds, than crypto. Like, you don't understand how much money these people are making with your data. They're selling it and you don't even know it. Every single day they're selling your name, they're reselling it, they're using it as a secret, and they're like communicating amongst each other, and they hope that you never find out that they exist. Somebody said 5. Tiffany said 5. Joyce said 5. Tia said 5 that I know of. Sharita said 10. There's about 50 secret credit bureaus. There's a medical information bureau. It keeps information about your medical. Don't ask me how that's legal. There's Check System. You probably know that when you open up a personal bank account. There's Cetergy. There's one that if you ever got a payday loan, remember payday loan back in the day? If you ever got a payday loan or a subprime type of loan, they have your information. There is if you have business, if you have student loans, there's that. LexisNexis is about, if you order your LexisNexis, it's about 200 pages long. If you ever stole a lollipop at 9 years old, it's on your LexisNexis. I got my LexisNexis. It has my traffic tickets and the craziest things on there. But it's about 50 secret credit bureaus and they're specialized on certain topics. It could be medical, it could be life insurance, it could be personal bank account, it could be all sorts of things, right? And they don't want you to know they exist. I'm going to give you a website where you can find and order your credit reports if you want to. But if you don't have time for that, just freeze it. Just by freezing your secret credit bureau, you will start your credit repair process. Because what happens is when you contact Experian and Equifax TransUnion, all they do, they're so lazy. They're based in Jamaica. They're based in Costa Rica. They're not even based in the country. They have their people electronically contact LexisNexis and verify this information. LexisNexis verifies it, and that's it. It's the Bible. If you freeze your LexisNexis, now you start to win the game because now they cannot verify it. They have to manually do it, and it's a pain in the butt. They start to cuss. Innovis is a secret credit bureau. So the first step you need to do is freeze the secret credit bureaus and then start the process. Okay, so now we're going to start the process. The second thing you need to do is order a copy of your 3 credit bureaus, which you can get for free at annualcreditreport.com. If you're curious about your FICO score, you have to pay for that. at myfico.com. But I would just suggest that you get a copy of each credit bureau at annualcreditreport.com, right? So you can freeze your credit bureau by calling them or filling out a form. Until you receive a form in the mail that says your LexisNexis has been frozen, that means it's not frozen yet. So don't start the process yet, because that is your secret, I guess. Number 3, you're going to start disputing negative items on your credit bureau using the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, and also the Fair Credit Billing Act. I'm going to show you where you can get a copy of sample letters to do that, right? Number 4, let me know in the chat if you're familiar with credit builder loans. When I had my credit repair company, they did not have credit builder loans, but they are a lifesaver for those of you who don't have money to put up front for secured credit cards. Credit builder loans are amazing. Drop in the chat if you are familiar with them. Are you familiar with credit builder loans? My annual credit report always directs me to my old address. I don't know how to change it. Dispute it. I'm going to give you resources on how to do that. Yala has Self. Yes, Self is amazing. So back in the day, I used to tell my clients, get a secured credit card. Now you don't have to put up $2,000 anymore for secured credit cards. You just get a secured builder loan. They're very brilliant. What they do is, so an example of credit builder loan is Self, Kickoff, or Green. Let me know if you're familiar with those 3 companies. So when you start to dispute your credit, something crazy is going to happen. Things are going to start coming off, but your credit score is going to start dropping, and you're going to have a heart attack, and you're going to cuss Martine and say, Martine told me to dispute these things, and now my credit score is dropping. So let's say you have a 630 and you have 3 collections, and the 3 collections have been on there for 6 years. And then you use the sample letters that I'm going to direct you to, and they come off because they're old, and things come off when they're old, just because they do. Now you're like, oh my God, the 3 collection came off. My score is going to go to 670. Well, no, your score is going to drop to 630, 620. But that's a good thing because you're building good credit. Because you don't have any new credit. Some of you don't have new credits. If you not new credit, because you don't have, credit right now. Let's say you only have like 3 collections and a student loan and like, I don't know, a personal loan. And then those 3 collection accounts make a big part of your credit file. So when you get them deleted, your score is going to drop. But it's okay. You're going to get positive credit with the credit builder loans. So don't have a heart attack because your score is dropping. That's normal. If things have been on your credit report for a long time and you dispute it and it falls off, your score is going to drop. But you're building good credit. So what you're going to do is you're going to rebuild your credit with these credit builder loans. You're going to apply for Self, Kickoff, and Green. What Self does it, instead of asking you to give them $1,000 up front, they're going to report to all 3 bureaus that you have a $1,000 loan with them, but they're going to make you pay a monthly payment. Can you be my mentor in this Airbnb rental business? At first, I said I wasn't going to have a mentorship because everybody has one. But finally, I bit the bullet and I said I'm going to launch a mentorship because I get these messages on the daily every single week. I need you as my coach ASAP. I have paid thousands to the fakes coaches, but you the real deal. You drop so many gems without taking a single dime from me. Out of all the testimonials I get, this is one of my favorite because this person did not pay me $1, and she's telling me that she learned more from me for free than from the Fugazis that she paid thousands of dollars from. What are these people teaching on the internet? Like, what the hell are they teaching? This is one of my clients. They got $26,000 with Chase. Listen, guys, you have 2 choices. Choice 1 is to implement the strategies on your own when it comes to starting your Airbnb business, or you can stick around a little while and let me make your life a lot easier. But first, I want to share with you what I want you to share with me what is your why, and I will share with you what is my why. Drop in the chat, why do you want to start a business? Why do you want to start a short-term rental business? Drop in the chat the reasons why. Don't tell me money, because that's not the reason why. You could go work for money. Tell me why, and I'll share with you my why in the meantime. My why is so I can travel the world. I told you I've been living in the same house since 2009. So clearly I did not buy a mansion or a Mercedes with the money I made on Airbnb. I literally have been traveling the world since I started my Airbnb business. I have been traveled all over the world with my sons, my parents, my sisters. That is my why. I do not need to have a mansion. I do not need to have fancy cars or bling bling, but I need to be on somebody else's plane. Your why could be different, but drop in the chat what your why is. I love to travel the world. I visited 40 countries since I started my Airbnb business. This is me right here. Last year, celebrating my 40th country in Bali. I've been all over the world. This is me on the right-hand side again at the Bali waterfalls. Okay? And so I love to speak languages and I love cultures. This is my certificado right here. I got in Dominican Republic that yo habla español. Okay? Now, I can't understand what the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans be saying on the bus, but I could speak it. I could say good morning, but I got a certificate in Dominican Republic because last year I got on somebody's plane and I said, I'm going to go to DR for 3 months because I wanted to learn the market there because I was interested in getting an Airbnb property there. And so that's my why, that I can learn other cultures, I can visit other countries, and I can travel. I'm literally on my 4th language. I speak 4 languages. The first time I was introduced to travel was in college. I spent a summer in Paris and I was hooked. So when I started my Airbnb business, you already know what I did with all my money. I traveled all over the world. That's my why. But what's your why? Why do you want to be a business owner? Is that so you can spend more time with your family? Do you want to get married? Do you want to stop working a 9 to 5 and you tired of the rat race? What is your why? Drop in the chat what your why is. That's your passion. That's why you want to be a business owner. That's your passion, not money, your passion. I'm going to share with you 3 types of Airbnb entrepreneurs. Now that you got the OPM, now that you got the money, whether you have bad credit or good credit, you got the money. Here are 3 types of Airbnb entrepreneurs. You're either an Airbnb host, which is how I started. When I decided from walking around in Times Square that there's lots of tourists here, I think I want to start letting people stay in my place. I started out as an Airbnb host. I did it for 1 month. There's the Airbnb co-host. That's a whole untapped market. Right? That's a whole untapped market where you can help other hosts make money on the platform without even having a property. I have a course called How to Start an Airbnb Business with No Property. If you're interested in that, that's a course for you. Airbnb investor. I became an Airbnb investor when I took my last $20,000 like a crazy woman and I invested it in 2 studios. I leased out 2 studios on the Upper East Side. So those are the 3 types of Airbnb hosts. How much do you think the average Airbnb host makes annually? Can you drop a chat in the chat how much you think they make? You are not going to believe it. The average Airbnb host earns $13,800 a year. They are lazy. They refuse to learn the industry. They buy expensive properties to put on the platform and they don't know nothing. They're crazy. So this is from Airbnb itself. Airbnb said that the average Airbnb host is lazy. They didn't say that. I said that. And they're not a high-level executioner because they're not. The host income is rising, Airbnb said. This is from Airbnb's website, guys. I'm not making this up. It says, when looking at all of 2021, new data shows that the typical Airbnb host income is $13,800 per year. How much did Martine tell you she made her first year? $267,938, okay? So if you want to make that kind of money, you need to educate yourself. The Airbnb co-host, what they do is they manage properties 20%. So if you don't have a property, you can't find a property, you can't find landlords. That's a great way to find landlords. That's a nice little sneaky way by co-hosting for other people to find where the landlords are. The Airbnb investor, I consider myself an Airbnb investor. Drop in the chat what you consider yourself to be. Airbnb investors love to lease multiple properties. That's rental arbitrage. They don't purchase, they lease because it's quicker cash flow. They know the short-term rental market. I had to invest in my business in 2012 when I went back to school because I didn't know a lot about hospitality. They're willing to travel to different destinations. Almost all of my clients have properties all over the place. They have properties all over the country. And some of them have properties outside the country. Right? And another thing that they do is they make multiple 6 figures. So they are not Airbnb hosts, they're investors. Drop in the chat what type of Airbnb entrepreneur. This is my client, Rich. Let me know if you can hear him. So this is Rich. He has properties all over the country in North Carolina, and he has a home in Tulum in Mexico. And he did not know how to manage his property, so he hired me, and I went through all the systems with him. So he's an investor. These are the types of people that I teach because I want people to actually have an empire, not to just be a host that's sitting there with expensive properties and they're not making any money. I would be so embarrassed if that happened to somebody who paid me to teach them how to make money on the platform. So this right here, you know why this is my last masterclass? Because I'm headed to the Middle East in 90 days, and I need to focus on that. And so this little thing right here is data I got from the tourism board in Dubai. If you're starting your business, you need to do your market research. So if you look at this right here, I don't know if you could see it. You could see the top source markets for Dubai. They're coming from the United States, which is number 7, UK, Germany, Canada, and India. So now that I know where people who are visiting Dubai are coming, I'm doing my market research every single day before I head to Dubai. So if you're starting your Airbnb business, you need to be doing the same thing. So where do you think I'm going to reach the people who are coming from India? Airbnb? No. That's why you need to do your market research. You can't just take your property and just throw it up on Airbnb. What are the odds that people from India are booking on Airbnb? Airbnb is a North American and millennial app, right? So I'm pretty sure people in India are not using that. So now I'm going to Dubai. I need to know the top markets. So I hit up the Dubai Tourism Board, and for free, I got this. So before you start your Airbnb business, you need to do all this. Every tourism board has this data, right? And so this is what you need to do to build your empire. You need to secure the bag, which I just showed you how to do. You need to conduct market research, which is what a big part of my mentorship program is. You need to secure and lease your property. We have a property locator platform that only our mentees can have access to. You need to list on correct distribution channels. Everybody is not booking on Airbnb. They're using other platforms, and you need to do your target market research so you can know what platforms they're using. You need to test your market before you purchase. So you get one property, you lease it, you test the market, and if it's doing well, then you could purchase or scale. And then you apply for working capital loans that I shared with you earlier. And that's how you scale. Once you get the working capital loans, now you start to scale. This is a proven success formula that has worked for me. I went back to school and I learned industry and I learned hospitality. And this is the stuff I'm sharing with you today, right? So guys, are you ready for me to share with you a sneak peek at my program? Drop in the chat if you want me to share with you a sneak peek at my program. But first, I got to share with you the very expensive ignorance tax that people are paying. If you don't want to invest in your business, you're going to end up paying in a different way. I paid that ignorance tax when I started. I made a whole lot of mistakes. And I finally went back to school and paid a whole bunch of money to learn. Now you don't have to go back to school no more. You could just pay a mentor. You could sign up for a program, a mentorship for a few weeks, and you know the industry. And I get these DMs. I get good DMs with testimonials. And I also get these types of DMs of people who are paying the ignorance tax, people who sign bad leases. Like this guy on the left-hand side. People who get kicked off on Airbnb because somebody accused them of having a video on their property. And this person's only on one platform. If you want to be an Airbnb investor, you cannot be on one platform. That is business suicide. So as I see it, you have 3 options. You could do nothing. You could try to figure out Airbnb for yourself. And we all know how that ended up. Ignorance tax. Or you can trust somebody who has expertise and knowledge in the short-term rentals market to guide you. It's testimonial for your client. It's my current client. This is my other client. She's a real estate investor also. She has multiple properties, right? And she wants to learn, but she's a real estate investor. She does not know Airbnb and she wants to learn the markets. I'm going to share with you the MBA program for real estate investors. This is a signature process. It's composed of 4 pillars. Build your business credit scores with our AI. We'll give you a software that is yours. And somebody asked this question. If you have LLC, do you have to create this for each LLC? Yes. with this software that you're going to get in our program, that's for yours for life. You can have 10 LLCs. The software is going to help you build LLC with the software. By the time you're done with the 7 steps of the software, you have your business credit score. Learn short-term rental strategies based on hospitality strategies. I'm going to share with you strategies that I learned at NYU so that you can have a successful empire, not to be an Airbnb host, but to have a short-term rentals empire. Learn how to secure property with our property locator platform. Our platform, we partnered with a company who has a platform that will connect you with Airbnb landlords to lease properties and property managers who will give you their blessing to lease their property on Airbnb and not be a pain in your butt about it. Okay, automation. Now that you're running your business, you need to automate it and hire staff, virtual assistants to run your operations, handymen, and all sorts of people, cleaning staff to automate your business so that you go out and get more property and more business credit because you are the CEO of your business. So our MBA program is literally modeled after the program that I took at NYU. That's why I call it the MBA program for real estate investors. So by the end of this program, you will know how to run your Airbnb empire. For that, you get these 6 free things on the right-hand side. It's worth $2,900. My course, How to Start an Airbnb Business with No Property, my 7 Secrets to Start a Successful Airbnb Business ebook, my Airbnb 6-figure host tools, and how to find Airbnb-friendly landlords, and also how to furnish your Airbnb for maximum revenue. Drop in the chat if you want to learn more about my mentorship program. And also let me know what is the best thing that you learned today. I'm going to drop this in the chat. If you're interested in this program, we have to set a one-on-one phone call with Martine to find out if it's a good fit. Okay? But drop in the chat, what is the best thing that you learned today? Was it credit repair? Was it how to get the net 30s, or the different types of business credit you can get for your business? But my mentorship program has launched, and for that reason, because I'm headed to the Middle East in the next 90 days, I no longer am going to have free masterclasses. This is my last free masterclass, guys. So I probably have 5 more minutes to take questions about the mentorship program or about the presentation. But I want to know, what was your best thing that you learned today? And I have a question for you. If you have the opportunity to 12x your income, would you do it later or sooner? I was able to 6x my income, and I didn't know nothing. I made $46,000 in 2009. By 2011, I 6x that. I made $267,938 5 steps. So now, with all the stuff I learned in the past 12, 13 years, you could definitely 12x your income. Let me know if you're going to take chances on yourself or you're going to invest in a program where you can learn how to have an empire. And if you have any questions, I am going to answer them in the next few minutes. Kashawn said, I learned things I didn't know I needed to know. Like what, Kashawn? Sharita, I'm starting a group mentorship. It's going to be $2,997, but right now the one-on-one is pretty pricey. But if you set up the one-on-one phone call with me, we could discuss that more. It depends on what your needs are. Tiffany said, my goodness, everything. Rose said, yes, the difference between business and corporate. Oh, you couldn't hear her. I don't know why that happens. People can't hear my testimonials. I have about 5 minutes to answer questions people have about the mentorship or the presentation. Let me go back to my presentation because the big screen is in my way. And gracias! I told you I took Spanish in Dominican Republic. Thank you so much for attending my very last free masterclass. I hope this has been a blessing to you, and I hope you could, 10x the information that I taught you so that you can, most importantly, raise your credit score. Guys, I just gave you an example of 2 banks that went under literally in the past 60 days. If the banks can't pay their own debt and the government comes out and the government rescues them, why can't you get things off your credit report and start from scratch? Redeem yourself. Don't sit there crying about your bad credit while banks are taking advantage of the public, right? If the banks can't pay their own debt and they're the ones who give the debt, then you have the right to clean your credit and move on. Regardless of how your credit became bad, it doesn't matter. Redeem yourself, fix your credit, and keep it pushing. But don't sit there crying about your bad credit score. That is unacceptable to me. Do not sit there crying about your bad credit score. Do not let bad credit get in your way of starting your business and getting business credit and business funding. So I did this masterclass for people who have bad credit, who always come into this business credit masterclass I usually have every Sunday, and I see in the chat, I have bad credit. I'm like, okay, now I've given you the tools to raise your credit. Go raise your credit and then apply for business credit, either through your own FICO or through your business credit. And let's beat the system. Don't let the system beat you, okay? Let me know if you have any questions, guys. I'm going to get kicked out for talking too much in Webinar Jam in the next 5 minutes. Question: when you spend money on these credit cards, do you take the payment options, or can you pay off at the end of month and still get it reported? What will make the credit score reporting happen? I don't want to screw this up. Are you talking about the business credit cards, or are you talking about what credit cards are you talking about? When you spend money on these credit cards, do you take the payment options? Group mentorship starts June 1st. It's going to be a 4-week mentorship. You're going to get a course and you're going to have live mentorship with me. We're going to cover, if you need help with your credit, it's going to be a 3-for-1: credit, business credit, and Airbnb. Because a lot of people offer only Airbnb. Some people only do credit. Some people only do business credit. I'm putting all of it together. So we can have a 3-for-1. Does your mentorship have access to asking you questions? Oh, yeah, it's going to be live mentorship, just like we had the live right here. Live and direct. If we get stuck on our journey, absolutely. Angela, I didn't understand your question. Were you talking about business credit cards or personal credit cards? The recording for this email will be said, yes, you'll get the email in 24 hours and it'll have the Webinar Jam recording. I think it's going to kick me out. Oh, for the business credit cards. Okay, let me reread your question. When you spend money on business credit cards, do you take the payment option or can you pay off at the end of month? If you want, and still get it reported. So this is the thing. The business credit cards don't report. They don't report. If you do a personal guarantee, they don't report to your personal report. If they don't report to your business report either. So that's why you need the net 30s. The only major business credit card that reports is Chase. So if you get a Chase business credit card, it does report to Equifax business credit. The others do not report, but they do report to SBFE. But remember, the SBFE is not a credit agency. It's just an association. As far as payment is concerned, usually they give you a year and 0% interest rate. It depends what kind of credit card you apply for. I know Chase Business Unlimited has a long 12 months period you don't have to pay at 0%. But if you get the Chase Inc. Business Preferred, you got to start paying right away. Just pay the minimum because they don't report anyway. So what's the point of paying the whole thing up? It doesn't report on either your business credit or your personal credit. So it's not going to take your credit score. It don't report. So the membership is, yes, $2,997. But if you want to set up a phone call to talk one-on-one with me, Amex reports Experian for Business. I have never seen them report. Which Amex reports? I have 5 Amexes. None of them report. Let me know which one of yours are reporting. I have the Gold. Well, the Gold is the charge card. I have like 4 of them. Sorry, not 5. I don't see any of them on there. Only my Chase is reporting on my Equifax. But let me know. I could be wrong about that, but my Amexes don't report. Let me see, guys. I'm going to get kicked out soon. Would the Airbnb arbitrage process apply? Yes, Airbnb arbitrage. Airbnb works anywhere in the world. You've got to find a property that's willing to let you do it. Or in Canada, there's less Airbnbs in Canada than in America, in the States rather. And so it would be easier for you to do it in Canada than over here. And hospitality strategies work the same anywhere in the world. The hotels that operate the same everywhere in the world. So once you know hospitality strategies here, you could apply them in Africa, in Canada, in Egypt, anywhere. That's why I'm able to go to DR, I'm able to go to Dubai, and I could run an Airbnb anywhere because once you have the strategies, you can apply them anywhere. Is it a hard pull on your personal for a business credit card Amex if you already have personal Amex? No, it's not. If you already have a personal Amex off that same inquiry, you can get your business. That's a nice little back door. I think I'm going to get kicked out, but if I get kicked out, I'm going to say good night in advance. Okay. And thank you for attending my last masterclass. And you'll be getting the replay in 24 hours. And have a great evening. Have a great evening, guys. Good night. You're welcome. Buenas noches. See that money I spent in Dominican Republic? It was worth it. Buenas noches. Gracias. De nada. You're welcome, Yanika. You're welcome. You're welcome, Rose. Go out and fix your credit. Those of you guys who need to fix your credit, go and fix your credit and let me know how it went for you. Good night. Ciao, ciao. Okay, that's not Spanish. That's a different language. All right, I'm going to shut it down, guys, because I got 3 minutes. I don't want... What's going on here? I guess I'm just going to let Webinar Jam kick me out. How about we just let them kick me out? Did you? I'll just answer questions so they kick me out because I said good night already. Did you set up your LLC in the state you live in, or can you register in other states? Yes, I set it up in the state I live in. If you're gonna have, you could set it up in another state. No, I don't even pay attention to tax benefits. I just set it up in New York. But if you want to do other states, speak to a lawyer. You need to do a foreman, crazy lawyer stuff. Like I forgot what the word is. But just to simplify things, just go on IncFile. Go on incfile.com, and it will walk you through how to do those things. If you want to do other states and you want to do, foreman LLC, meaning you're in another state and you're running an Airbnb or any business, go to incfile.com. It'll help you. Setting up time for tomorrow, Rose. Okay, Rose, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I think this thing is going to kick me out, but I'm just going to sit here and be bad until they kick me out. Your live event will end in 5 minutes. It's time to wrap up. Okay, Webinar Jam. How rude are they? Like, they only let me run my mouth for 5 minutes. Well, if they, for 2 hours, if they didn't do that, I would be here all night. So I guess that's a good thing. Okay, somebody says, so the net 30, can we pay off, or do we need to pay as payment to build the yes, you have to pay. So the net 30, they're gonna send an invoice to you, pay it off right away. And then you gotta do every time you do a net 30, you get a new invoice. You gotta do multiple experiences with them. It's not like it's a net 30, you gotta pay it in 30 days. So you can't do payment plans with a net 30 anyway. But you have to buy multiple. You have to make multiple. Oh my God! You have to make multiple purchases with that vendor. For example, Nav. So I signed up with Nav. It's $50 a month. Every month they send me a bill for $50. Actually, they just take it out of my bank account, and so they charge me $50. They take it out. Next month they take another $50. When you're tired of Nav after 4 months, most likely that's enough for you to get the score. You can get rid of Nav, right? Once you get your score, get rid of all those vendors because you just use them just to get the score, and be done with them. But every month you have to make a new purchase and make a new payment. Try to use companies that you can use, right? Like try to use Nav because Nav is helpful. They give you your business credit scores. So it's actually helpful. Try not to sign up for companies that are not helpful. Like if they're telling you have to buy a lawnmower and you live in New York City, you don't need it, don't buy it. Only buy things that you need from the vendor. A lot of people buy stuff they don't need. That's a waste of money. Try to buy things that you actually need for your business. Like try to check out Red Spectrum and also CEO Creative. They actually will sell you things that you need. I got 1 more minute. Angela said, "Oh well, don't buy lawnmower, Angela, so she could raise your business, you can get business credit. Don't do that. I know nobody has money to be throwing away like that. Buy something that you could use." Anyway, guys, have a great evening. They're gonna kick me out for real.